Let's see what time it is. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I know your mouths are full. I'm going to say it again. Good afternoon. All right, all right. Well, thanks for having me, Ahmad. I appreciate the invite. So this is my passion, guys. This is what I love to do. So today we're going to give you a little information on dining etiquette. Basically, can anybody tell me what etiquette is, first of all? You want to tell me? Not quite. What's that?
A fashion place? A fashion place?
You said a fashion place. Let's go a little bit further. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Right. Proper. Right. Etiquette is the way you properly do things. And in this instance, we're talking about how you eat properly. So, there are times, how many of you ever been to a banquet or someplace where you have to dress up, right? You may have to wear a suit, a necktie, a sport coat, a pocket square, and you want to look good, right? You want to look good when you're walking around, when you walk into a place. So not only when you walk into a place of fine dining, but just like this, you need to understand the importance of how you should hold your utensils, where they go, what it looks like when you walk to the table, how you would understand when you walk to the table, what type of food or how many meals or entrees that you're going to have for that day. So we're going to start really quickly with a couple of things. Okay, so I have two volunteers here, and I think they know what they're doing up here, right, guys? You think you know what you're doing? You think you know where your forks go and your spoons go and all those things? All right, we're going to see. So we're going to have a little contest, all right? But first of all, let me, I probably don't need this mic too much, but let's go over a couple of items. All right. So, can anybody tell me why dining etiquette is important? Why is it important to know how to eat properly? Yes, sir. What's that? Right. So you won't be messy. Good answer. Knowing and displaying proper dining skills further enhances your image as a gentleman. When Mr. Laws came up earlier, he talked about image, right? How you should always look your best. So this is just another part of how you should look your best when you go out on a fine dining restaurant or a place like this. Knowing and displaying proper dining etiquette shows respect to your dining guests. And finally, oftentimes when you get older, you realize this, that employers conduct interviews, right? Interviews over dining. So they may take you out to a restaurant and you may have to impress them about the way that you utilize your dining skills. So let's kind of talk about the tools of dining. I'm going to have these guys do a little contest for me. So before them, they have their plate, and they have their utensils, they have their spoons and knives, they have a napkin, and I'm also going to place a bread plate in front of them. So what they're going to have to do is they are going to have to place these items where they should be. So if you walk up to a table, what should a basic, and we're talking about basic place setting, so let me help you understand. A place setting is just the items that you see in front of you, your plates, your spoons, your knives, etc. So when you walk up to a table, tell me how a basic place setting should look. I need you to do it on your plate, on your table here for me. Also place your cup where you think your drink should go. All right, you sure? All right. Yeah. A few more seconds. Scared? Don't be scared. That's all right. Good. All right. So time's up. So these gentlemen have established the areas on the table where they think their knives and forks and spoons and plates and bread plates should go. So what I'm going to show you now is the proper placement of these particular items. I'm going to let this down. So, let's give some definition to some of these items. What would you call this?
Plate.
A plate, right? Today we're going to call it our meal plate, right? This is our meal plate. This is what your main dish looks like, all right? So that's what you have in front of you now. Second thing I'm going to show you, you can tell me what this is. This is your bread plate, okay? So your bread plate actually goes to the top left of your meal plate. I'm going to show you an example up here in just a second. Finally, for this part, we're going to look at your napkin. Who can tell me where you think the napkin should go? Where does it go?
On the left side.
On the left, very good. Amen. On the left-hand side. All right. So we have 4 different items here. Okay. Your basic knife, basic spoon, and we have 2 different forks. One is shorter than the other. Who can tell me what the small fork is for? Absolutely. Did everybody hear that? Small fork is for your what?
Salad.
Small fork is for your what?
Salad.
Right. We have a large fork. What is this for?
Food.
Your main meal, right? Your main dish. Very good. So here's the trick question. What side do your forks go on? The left or the right? How many say left? How many say right? Okay, give me a little trick. Give you a little trick. How many letters does the word fork have in it? 4, right? How many letters does the word fork have in it? Did I say fork first? How many letters does the word fork have in it? 4, right? How many letters does the word left have in it? 4. So that's a little trick to help you understand your fork goes on the left-hand side, both forks. The next 2 utensils, your knife and your spoon. What side do your knife and spoon go on?
Right.
Right. Why is that? Another little trick. How many letters does the word spoon and knife have? How many letters does the word right have? 5. It's another trick. So your knife goes first, and then your spoon. So gentlemen, the trick here is when you look at your basic place setting, the last thing we have is your water glass. Okay? The water glass goes where? The left or the right? Very good. It goes on the right. Right above your knife. Okay? Right above your knife. So when you walk up to the table, you'll basically know what you're going to be eating first. So since the small fork is on the outside, the furthest outside, that means you're going to have what first? What is the small fork for?
Salad.
Salad. So that means you're going to have what first?
Salad.
Salad. Very good. Okay? Right. So let me give you a little explanation of how this is going to look. You probably can't see it from there. That's what it looks like up here on the table, okay? So your salad fork is first, your meal fork is next, you have your meal plate, then your knife and your spoon, and then there's your glass at the top, and then your bread plate on the left. So when using your silverware, you always start from the outside and work your way in, right? So the items that you're going to use first are on the outside. In a basic place setting, the forks are to the left, meal plate, and then knives and spoons to the right. Bread plate goes to the left, meal plate in the middle, and water's to the right. So here's another trick. The bread plate starts with a B, right? Your meal starts with an M. And then your water starts with a W. How do I remember that? BMW, right? Who likes BMW cars? Am I the only one? Y'all probably like Porsches and things like that.
Yeah.
All right. So that's the way you remember. So this comes in handy if you're, how many of you ever gone to a banquet or an event and you sat at a round table, right? A round table, not a square table like this, but a round table. It's very easy to misunderstand what's yours. So that's why you should understand how these things are set. I learned a lesson a long time ago because I actually picked up the wrong glass. I picked up the glass on the left-hand side. I didn't realize it until it had lipstick on it, right? A lady was sitting to my left and it was actually her glass. So that's how I really remembered how to use this actual place setting idea. So there it is. You can remember it by BMW, bread, meal, and water. Okay, so we're going to talk about 2 different styles of dining. 2 different styles of dining. First you have the American style, and then you're going to have the continental, or what we call the European style of dining. So guys, to be honest with you, most of you probably use this simultaneously to kind of show you how this works. So with the American style of dining, you want to look at the way you're eating right now. You take your fork, and your knife. Let's just say we have a nice steak in front of us, right? When I walk around, when I look at young gentlemen eating, a lot of times I see that they're holding their utensils wrong, guys, okay? So you want to make sure you hold your utensils right. Now, what I'm teaching you today is going to set you apart from your peers. Most of the time, you don't realize that you're doing the wrong thing, but it's always important to know that proper dining etiquette causes you to do the right thing, hold your utensils properly, and act properly at the dinner table. So, we have your meal fork, you have your knife. The proper way to hold these utensils, gentlemen, you hold your knife with this finger at the top to give you some leverage to cut. You're gonna hold your fork like this, okay? So if we have a nice steak, we're gonna hold our steak in place, and then we're gonna cut our food. Now, you don't wanna cut your meat in 12 little pieces, right? You're not 2 years old. So you wanna cut at least 1 to 2 pieces of meat at a time. Now, this is the American style of dining. Once you cut, you're gonna place your knife at the top of your plate. You're gonna switch hands, and then you eat, okay? So I'm gonna show you that motion again. This is the American style of dining. You're gonna cut, place your knife at the top of your plate, you switch hands, and then you eat. What we call the tines up. These things here are not called teeth, they're not called prongs, they're called tines, T-I-N-E-S, okay? Did you have a question? No? Okay. So that's the American style of dining. Let's look at the European style, a little different. Many of you may eat like this. European style, pretty similar. You're gonna cut your meat, lay your knife down, but you don't switch hands this time. You just use your fork and put your meat in your mouth or whatever you're eating at that time. So again, European style. You're gonna cut. You don't put your knife down. You hold it here, and then you eat with the tines down. Remember the first time, you put it down, switched hands, and ate like this. That was the American. European, you're gonna cut, eat like this. All right? Does everybody get that?
Yes, sir.
All right? So again, once you're out dining in a restaurant, people will realize that you know what you're doing. They'll understand that you've gone through an etiquette class. They'll understand that you know the proper things to do. Again, it's about setting yourselves what? Apart. Say it with me. It's about setting yourselves apart. Very good. So this just kind of goes through what I just talked to you about, how you cut your food, the American style of dining. The other thing is when you're finished with your meal, it's proper etiquette says that you should place your fork and knife at the 10-20 position on your plate. That way the wait staff understands that you're done, okay? So what does the 10-20 look like? Right, okay, so this looks like a what? A clock. Okay, let's say this is a clock. 10-20, it's gonna look like this. 10-20, that's what 10-20 looks like on a clock, right? So when the wait staff comes by and you place your utensils like this, they understand that you're done eating, okay? So going back, just kind of looking at the continental style that we looked at. Okay. And then when resting, the tip of the knife should face 10 and the handle should face 4. The tines of the fork should face 2 and the handle should face 8 o'clock. Same thing, the European style, okay, but the tines are going to be down. In other words, instead of the fork resting up like this in the 10-20, they're going to go down. All right, very important. Did you all know there's a proper way that you should use your napkins?
Yep.
Proper way that you should use your napkins. Let's talk about that a little bit. First thing that you want to do is when you sit down at the table, what do? You're going to place your napkin where? On your lap. On your lap, very good. So what you do not want to do, I'm going to get to that. Now he said you should place your napkin up here. Is it proper to place your napkin up here? Only maybe when you're eating lobster or something like that, right? But at a regular restaurant, you're going to place, you never place your napkin here. You always want to place it in your lap. So the key is you don't want to take, watch me guys really closely, you don't want to take your napkin and do this, right? You want to take your napkin, fold it in half, place it in your lap. Okay, why are you placing it in your lap? So nothing will spill on your lap. Very good, you're rolling, man, you're rolling. All right, so. So before you begin to eat, yes. Before you begin to eat, you want to fold it in half, place it closest to your knee, right? Guys, you do not wipe your mouths like this, okay? You don't take the napkin and do this, right? You want to dab your mouth, not dab, right? You want to dab your mouth, okay? All right? So that's the proper way that you would wipe your mouth. If you have to excuse yourself from the table, you place your napkin on the arm or the back of your chair. So you never want to place your napkin where? In the seat. Why? It's just nasty, right? Right. So you want to place your napkin either on the back of your chair, or if the chair has arms, you want to place the napkin on the side, on the arms of the chair. Right? Everybody got that? All right. I'm going to quiz you in just a little bit. When you're finished eating and ready to leave the table, you place your napkin to the left of your plate. You don't want to take your napkin, ball it up, and throw it in the middle of your plate. You want to take it from your lap, fold it just slightly, and place it to the left of your plate. Okay? These are very simple things, guys, but again, it's going to set you what? Set you apart from your peers and everybody else. Did you know there's a proper way to eat bread?
What?
Right. I said what? There's a proper way to eat bread, guys. The bread is in a plate in front of you. It's your responsibility to pass the bread. So if you're at a big table, right, round table, and the waitstaff places the bread in front of you, right in the middle, you want to take that bread, offer it to the person to your left, but you want to pass it counterclockwise. Okay, so you're going to pass it to your right. Okay, and then it'll come back to you eventually. Okay? Next thing, here we go. You should offer the bread to the person to your left, begin to pass it to the right. If bread is served in a basket in front of you with a napkin, you take a portion of the napkin in your left hand, and then you want to break the bread with your right. So how many of you have been to a restaurant and they place what we call community bread right in the middle of the plate, right in the middle of the table? Okay? So what you want to do, many times there's a napkin over the back part of the bread. You want to take your hand with the napkin to hold it. Then you can take your bare hand and break a piece off, okay? You never want to take the napkin off, pick up the whole loaf and break it, right? Because everybody else has to eat off of that same piece of bread. Okay? Is that clear? Is that clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me. Good job. All right. What's that? You don't get it? All right. So, sometimes at restaurants, they'll bring a large piece of bread and sit it in front of you, okay? Got that part? All right. So, part of the bread is going to have a napkin over it, okay? Got it? Got it? Then you hold the napkin, and then you break the bread on this side. So when you break that piece of bread, this is when you utilize what? What do we call this? Bread plate, absolutely. That's when you break off the piece of bread, and you're going to put your bread on this small bread plate. All right? Let's just say you have a roll. All right, guys, everybody paying attention? If you have a roll, you don't want to take that whole roll, slap butter on it, and eat it, right? The proper thing to do is you take that roll, break a piece off, put the rest of it on your plate, butter the small piece, and then you eat that small piece of bread, okay? I know most of us take that roll, we're hungry, ready to go, we just take it and bite it. But the proper way to do it when you're in a dining establishment, you take that roll, break a small piece, and then you eat it. And I want you to do something for me. Do you know there's a proper way to eat soup?
No.
You know there's a proper way to eat soup?
Oh, yeah.
Did? I want you to show me. All right, what's your name? Kenny. Kenny's gonna show us the proper way to eat soup, right? So, just a second. So we have some nice, what, chicken noodle soup? Is that good for you? Chicken noodle soup? Vegetable chicken noodle. So show me how you would eat your soup, Kenny. Just show me the motion. Up and in. Do it one more time for me. Up, in. All right, is that proper? Is that right? Think so? How many think that's right? All right, how many think we need to try it again? All right. I'm gonna show you the proper way to do this. Proper way to eat your soup, guys. You're gonna have your bowl in front of you. Stand up so everybody can see. All right. Take your spoon, dip it in, then what we call ladle away. You take it away from you instead of bringing it to you. Right. So you want to put your spoon in, ladle it away, and then what you want to do is you want to barely scrape the back side of the bowl. Why would I do that?
So the juice won't come out.
So the juice won't come out. So the soup won't fall out of the spoon, right? All right. So you're gonna take it, ladle it away, and then bring it to your mouth,
okay? So you don't want to take it here, turn it, and do it this way. Very smooth. This is about being smooth, guys. About being smooth, especially if you take a young lady out to dinner when you get older. She wants to understand that you know the proper dining skills, right? That way you can get a second date, all right? So, that's the proper way. So here, this is just some of the items that I just talked about, okay? So let's talk about some very, very simple dining basic behavior. Yes, sir, you have a question? Right. Okay, so he asked, is there a proper way that you should drink water at the dining table? Just as long as you don't, right? As long as you don't do that. Just pick up your glass. You don't, I don't know what this is all about when people pick up the glass like that. You want to break that, bring that back in, right? So pick up your glass, just drink as normal. So normally it's not, you just don't want to make any excess noise when you drink, right? Very good. Right, no, you can just hold it just like this.
How do they hold it like this though?
It's just a preference.
It's not like liquid.
All right, so if you need to go to the restroom, just say, excuse me. There's no reason to tell anybody why you're leaving the table, right? So if you need to go any place, just tell the person or the people that you're sitting with, excuse me, I'll be right back. You don't have to tell them where you're going, why you're going, any of that information. So, how many of you know, guys, I need your attention. How many of you know that when someone asks to pass the salt or the pepper, that you pass both items together, all right? Because later they could come back and say, I need the pepper also, I need the salt. So you want to take both of them and pass them together. You don't want to reach for things across the table. Why would you not reach for things across the table? Right, so you don't want to mess up your $1,500 suit, right? Plus you may drop something across, on somebody else's plate. So you want to be courteous of those that are sitting with you. Yes, sir, you got a question? You got a question? Yes, sir. I need you to speak up. I can barely hear you, man. Grab this.
He said, so you don't have to me.
All right.
I said, if someone reaches over your food, is that disrespectful?
It is disrespectful. Yes. He asked if someone reaches over your food, is that disrespectful? Yes, it is. So if you need something, you just ask that person next to you to pass that particular item to you. Okay? You always want to bring the food to your mouth. Okay? You don't want to lean into, okay, you can hold the mic out there. So when you're eating, guys, it's always proper to sit up, okay? You don't want to sit all the way back like this and bring the food to you. Why would you not do that? It can spill, very good. So you always want to have proper position. You want to bend slightly and eat your food, okay? Bring it to your mouth. You don't want to do this, which is what I see a lot. Face is in your plate, right? Proper, sit, and eat properly. All right? So,
Excuse me,
yes, sir.
is there a proper way to sit?
Yes. Right. Yeah. So you want to make sure, like I said, you don't want to sit too far back from the table. You should sit about 2 hand lengths away from the table. Everybody got it? You should sit about 2 hand lengths away from the table. And then you want to make sure that you just bend slightly to eat. Okay? So on this item here, when you pass something that has a handle, how many times have you been to a restaurant and you've seen a large pitcher and it may have condensation on the outside of it, so water or something dripping on the outside? You want to make sure that you turn that to where the handle is actually facing the person that you're giving it to. Okay, so they can actually grab the handle so they won't accidentally slip out of their hands. Okay? How many of you do this? Do not burp loudly at the table, guys, right? Because it's what? Very rude. This is my worst one here. How many of you heard people at a restaurant blowing their nose at the table? I'm going to show you something real quick. So I'm eating a nice meal here. I feel something in my nose, so I take my napkin, right? Blow my nose, put it back in my lap. So I'm not done eating, I'm still eating my steak, enjoying my food. I feel something on my mouth, and what's the first thing that I do? Pick up my napkin, and wipe my mouth if I just blow my nose in, right? So that's one reason you should not blow your nose at the table. The other reason is it's just rude, okay? So you always have to be respectful of those that you eat with. Don't want to push your plate away from you when you finish eating. I know at home when you're done, you're full, your belly's big, everything's good, you just want to push your food away from you. You leave everything as it is once you finish your meal. Don't chew with your mouth open. I know you've heard that for years. Don't brush or comb your hair at the table, guys. Why would you not do that? Hair falls in the food or somebody else's food. How many of you do this at the table? You don't want to lick your fingers, right? You make all that noise and it's just rude. So I don't know how many of you drink tea, have you put sugar in it, stir it up with your spoon. You always want to make sure that once you finish stirring your tea, okay, you take that spoon out. You don't want to drink it with the spoon in it. So if you drop silverware, this is a good one. If you drop silverware on the floor, you always ask the waitstaff to replace it. You should not pick up the silverware. Now, many of us think that may be rude, right? You drop it, you may want to pick it up. But again, this is proper dining etiquette. So if you happen to drop a fork or knife, falls under the table, you would just summon or get the attention of your waitstaff, have them to come and get you another utensil. All right? This is a big one here. So you don't scrape food with your teeth from your fork. So when you're eating your food, you want to use your lips to take the food off, off the fork, right? You don't want to take your teeth and scrape it. All right? You're about done with your meal. It's all gone, guys. It's gone. There's nothing else on the plate. Do not do this. Right? If you're in a fine dining restaurant, people are going to hear that all over the restaurant. Okay? So you want to make sure when you finish your meal, you don't have to scrape your plate. When it's done, it's done. Everybody got that? Guys, these are some very important tips I'm giving you. I want to make sure that you're paying attention because you're going to come to a place in life where you're going to have yourself, or where you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have to go to an event, a banquet, or some other type of event, and you're going to be expected to look proper, dress proper first. And you're going to make sure that you are doing your proper dining skills, okay? So you always want to taste your food before putting salt and pepper or any type of seasoning on it. Why would you do that, guys? You may not know this, but this is important. What's that?
The reason why not to do that, I found out the hard way because you never know how it is. So you want to think first, and first is clean.
Very good, absolutely. I'm going to tell you what he said. What did you say? Poison. So what he said is you don't want to season your food, guys. Guys, pay attention. You don't want to season your food before you taste it because you may put salt on it and it's already salty. So once you put more salt and more seasoning on it, it's no good, right? Anymore. The other reason is it's an insult to the chef because the chef took all of this time to prepare this food, and even before you taste it, you're going to douse it with salt and pepper or whatever you place on it. So it's an insult to the chef. Just because someone else is paying for your dinner, don't order the most expensive thing on the menu. Guys, I need your attention.
Hey guys,
all right?
phones up, look that way.
And the last thing is you want to make sure that you bring the attention to the waitstaff if something is wrong with your food. This is important for one main reason. Let's just say your food is brought out and it's cold. How many of you had somebody bring your food and it may be cold, and maybe something's not right with it? Just bring it to the attention of the waitstaff. And the way you do that is you properly just summon the waitstaff and let them know what's going on. You don't want to go overboard and complain about your food, guys. Why would you not do that? So what happens is if you're complaining going on and on about your food, you never know what they're putting in your food in the back, right? So if you're complaining, they may just go back and say, hey, this guy's complaining, I'm gonna show him something. And they may put a little something extra in your food that you didn't order on the menu. You understand what I'm saying? Right, so you wanna make sure that you're nice and cordial to everyone there, all right? So let's get ready to wrap up. We're gonna talk about some things. Last thing, dinner talk. What do you talk about at the table when you're at the restaurant? A couple of things you can talk about. First of all, you wanna make sure you keep the conversations clean.
Talk about nice things.
Talk about nice things, absolutely. You want to talk about, oh, I was sick last night and this is what happened. You don't want to keep those type of conversations to yourself. Don't speak loudly in the restaurant, okay? Talk about current events. Talk about some things that you've seen. Talk about your food. Talk about the restaurant, okay? And just talk about the decor, the design, or whatever. But you always want to make sure you talk about nice things when you're at dinner, okay? Especially when you're with a group of individuals. You need to make a good impression. Very important, okay? So, ask you guys a couple of questions. What are the two styles of dining? American and European. Very good. What side of the plate does your spoon go on?
Left. Left.
Left or right?
Left.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Right. Okay. Do you season your food before you taste it? No. Very good. All righty. Is it okay to speak loudly at the table?
No, you have to talk low.
Right. So, I have my napkin and I'm leaving to go to the restroom. Where I put my napkin? On the back of the chair or on the arm. Very good. Very good. All right, guys. Do you guys have any last questions about this? Again, these are things that are proper. These are things that you may not see your peers doing every day. But if you do these things, I promise you, you're going to do what? Set yourselves what?
Example.
Set an example and set yourselves apart from your peers. Yes, sir.
Tell these young gentlemen where a cell phone goes on the place that.
Absolutely. It's a perfect example. Do you see where my cell phone is now?
Yes.
Where is it?
In the middle of the table.
In the middle of the table. Is that where it goes?
No.
Right. So the thing is, you don't place anything on the table that you didn't see before you got there. Okay? You don't put your cell phone, your keys, or anything on the table. You want to make sure that you keep your cell phone on silent or off when you're at a restaurant. Okay? Because you're at dinner. If you're at dinner with one other person, you're at dinner for two, not three. You don't need to be talking to anybody else on the phone when you're at dinner. Okay? Do you have a question, sir? Usually he asks where a lady would put her purse. A lot of times I've seen them place it on another chair, or if you're in a booth, they put it on the side of them on the booth. Okay. Ladies, where would you put your purse in a restaurant? I know most ladies don't like to put it on the floor. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, guys, you have any other questions? One more and that's it.
So if a kid goes out to eat with the adults and they bored, can they get on their phone?
No. He said if a kid is out to eat with their adults and they're bored, can they get on the phone? What's the answer to that? No. All right, you're respectful, you're with your family, you need to pay your family that type of respect.
Yeah, but what if it's like all adults and you're the only kid?
We'll talk about that. Wrap up. Okay. All right, guys, thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you.